This is the UCW VIP champion, the East Coast Warrior, Kasey McKay, and you're listening to Tapped Out Interviews. Ho!
Hello and welcome to Tapped Out Interviews. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network, and you can follow me on Twitter at Tapped Out Lewis. That's Lewis, Lewis, at Tapped Out Lewis on Twitter. And very excited today. We have a very, very special guest. Was supposed to do the interview last week, but unfortunately I wasn't able to, but we're getting it done right now. Very happy to welcome to the show the current UCW VIP champion, absolutely killing it right now in the Maritimes. Would love to welcome to the show the East Coast Warrior, Kasey McKay. Kasey, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks a lot, Lewis, for having the East Coast Warrior out on the program, and a big thank you to the fans of Tapped Out Radio Podcast for listening in and tuning in. This is going to be an awesome program. I've been looking forward to it, Lewis. Let's give her.
Absolutely, man. I've been looking forward to it too, man. I had some really great things from you from Justin Newhook, Matt Connors, Kobe Christ. They claim that you're the hardest worker in the Atlantic Canada area, if not Atlantic Canada, in the entire Canada area and the entire Canada country when it comes to pro wrestling. So they have nothing but great praise. So I was really excited to have a chance to talk to you today.
I think they're giving me a little more credit than I'm due for. I appreciate the words from those boys. I know them quite well. I've had the pleasure of training with a few of those lads. I've had the pleasure of working some of those guys in the ring. It's been one hell of a ride with those boys over the last 2 years, that's for sure. As for being the hardest worker, I think maybe what they're talking about is just the all-around aspects. I put 110% into this business, and not just in the ring. There's a whole aspect to it, the whole respect issue of the traditions and everything else that's come before me over the years. I'm the type of guy I sit back and I listen to what the guys before me have to say. And it all gets absorbed like a sponge, and maybe my work ethic is what they're talking about for the most part.
Well, I've seen some of your matches. I must say I'm really, really impressed. Your match with Big T for the UCW VIP title was an excellent match, and
slobber knocker that was. Man.
Yeah, just congratulations on your title win. Really, really good match there. And I also saw a match. It just said Kasey McKay versus Jeff. I don't know if that was his name or if it was another name attached, but it just said Jeff on YouTube. And you chopped the living hell out of this poor guy's chest. And I'm sure he's still hurt now. I mean, what did you talk to him afterwards? Because I thought his chest was going to cave in the way you were chopping the hell out of him.
That's a guy that I know. His name is Jeff. He goes by Just Jeff. He's a local VIP guy. He's actually a cruiserweight champion right now for a company called BCW. Really, really nice kid. We went out there basically, and I didn't even mean to come on to him as hard as it seemed. Afterwards, I did go up to him, make sure that he was all good. He said 100% that it wasn't as bad as what it appeared to be, so I didn't feel as bad at that point. But yeah, man, those sounded like wallops on him, that's for sure.
Yeah, my chest was hurting after I was watching it. My chest was hurting. That's the way you chop.
It's hard to go easy when you're the warrior, man. It's ingrained in you to be that wild man type. I'm not a technical guy. I'm more of a kind of a brawler who just. Almost like an unleashed pit bull, you know what I mean? You let him out of the corner and he's rabid.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you explained a little bit just now, but like for those that are not familiar with the East Coast Warrior, maybe you could just tell the listeners right now what you're all about and what they can expect when watching the East Coast Warrior in the ring.
Absolutely, the Warrior. I've always said he's the embodiment of what it is to be somebody from the East Coast. whether you're on the Maritimes or you're from the beginning of the Arctic Passage all the way up north, or you're going all the way down the American seaboard, down to Florida. There's a certain breed of people. We're hardy, we're tough, we handle situations that most people would crumble underneath. I'm just the embodiment of that. I'm not a technical guy. I don't come out, I don't claim to be technically sound, or, I can't go out there and put on submissions like most guys can, or I'm not a high flyer, but I go out and I give 110% because that's the Maritime way. That's who we are. You can't top us. You can beat us down as much as you want. We can be laying down on the ground, but we're still going to get back up, and we're still coming back after you. Maybe that's my working mentality as well. It's ingrained in me. That's what I do. You're tired, you're sore, doesn't matter. You just had your arse whooped, doesn't matter. You get back up and you just keep going. That's what the Warrior is. That's why I think so many people gravitate towards him, because, I'm the average Joe that proves that if you just put the effort into it, you can be what you want to be, when you want to be it. Doesn't matter the obstacle. Don't listen to anybody else. Just put 110 into what you do, and you can achieve anything you want.
Yeah, I think that's why you connect with the fans, because I'm watching the matches, and your character, the East Coast Warrior, really is connecting with the fans. The fans really seem to be pumped when you're in the ring. Would you say that's the main reason why that you're able to connect with the fans?
I would say that's a big part of it. I think with kids especially, they relate to the almost kind of superhero mentality that the Warrior has. I come out wearing face paint. That's my paint. That's something that I have done. I always will do. It's a spiritual thing for me, coming from the East Coast of Canada. My kilt is kind of the same aspect. I won't take that off. That's my thing. But, when you got the bright colors like that, and you're looking like, these kids watch these shows and they look at these older books and everything else. That's kind of the guy they want to look up to, the guy they want to be. He's over the top, but he's still a decent guy. He'll do the right things, but he doesn't put up with evil or bad people or anything like that. He stands his ground. As for the adults, I think it's the aspect of, I came from a poor background. I came from a hard time. I've suffered with mental illness like everybody else has. I suffered with addictions early on in my life. I was a single father to 4 kids underneath the age of 8 years old for the last 6 years. I have sole custody of my kids. I raised them little warriors. I think the adults in the crowd, they see that and they say, you know what, if this guy can do it, he comes from the Maritimes, he comes from the exact same place we do, I can do whatever I can, what I want. There's no excuse for me not to be able to achieve what I want to do. So I think I bring everybody in because I'm relatable, Lewis, to be honest with you. And, I go out there, the fans, I know that they're the reason that I'm there. That's my biggest draw to the business. I love entertaining people. I love giving people hope. I love giving people the idea that, things can happen that they don't believe could. I go out there, intermission, before, after shows, shaking people's hands, thanking them for coming out to the event. Because if it wasn't for these people, none of us would be here. You show them appreciation, they appreciate you. That's the bottom line.
That was fantastic. I absolutely 100% agree with you there, man. Now, if you mentioned, you mentioned addictions. Can I ask you a question about the past addictions, or is that something you don't want to talk about?
No, absolutely. I'll talk about it, because that's the one problem that we face in this world is people don't want to talk about it, especially for men. I'm going to say this right now on your podcast. Guys, if you're feeling down, if you got something going on in your life, don't think that you're sacrificing being a man, reaching out to somebody. Don't think that that's what it is. You can't be a man. You can't be the best man that you can be. You can't be the best guy that you can be unless you are 100% healthy with yourself. That's the bottom line. So you want to ask me about it? Absolutely, go ahead. I'm an open book about everything in my life because I've managed to overcome all those obstacles. And if what I say can help somebody else, I'm winning. That's the thing about the Warrior. He is people's guy. I'm not some guy that doesn't relate to anybody else. There's every single person on the East Coast, something in the Warrior that they can attribute to their life.
Yeah, because you mentioned that, because I myself, I battled depression in the past, and I agree with you 100%. It's the best thing if you're battling depression, and you have, negative thoughts going through your head. It's best to always to talk to somebody. And what you just said right now, the way you're speaking, is it really touched me, because I'm thinking about back when I was going through depression, and how hard it was, and listening to you saying that you had addictions, that you came over it, that you overcame them, I should say, and right now you're a professional wrestler, and you're helping other people. That right there, that means a hell of a lot. Hearing that from you, it means a hell of a lot to me. I might sound like I'm rambling on right now, because I wasn't expecting to go in this direction, but I, like I said, depression, I don't know if you were suffering from depression or what you might have been addicted to, but
I was.
Okay.
I was suffering bad from depression. You know what I mean? Just like anybody else in the world, you have this idea of what life you want. Sometimes it throws you difficult cards. I don't take anything away from my upbringing. I'll tell you that right now. My parents, they busted their asses off to do what they could for me and my brothers and my sister. It was the times, it was what was going on. You know what I mean? Things were hard for everybody at that time. And, you did what you could. That's the East Coast spirit. You overcome. You hunker down, you push through it. I think that's a Canadian spirit, to be honest with you. It extends right across the whole country.
Sure.
That's what makes us Canadian.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's a stigma towards it for guys. Say that there isn't, but there is. Guys will feel 100 times worse about reaching out and admitting that there might be something going on with them. It's not, we're brought up to not show emotion. You know what I mean? That's slowly changing over the years, which is, kind of a good thing. But, I didn't expect to be getting into this either, to be honest with you, man. But addictions, that's the same thing. You can have an addiction to anything. Alcohol, drugs, body dysmorphia. That's a huge one for guys that people don't want to talk about either. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. You gotta hunker down. You gotta overcome, because like I said before, you can't be the best man that you can be without admitting that you're a broken man first. That's how it goes.
Absolutely.
But anyways, let's get into wrestling.
Let's talk. I didn't mean to go in that direction. Sorry, man.
Hey, we're on tapped out interviews. You know what I mean?
We're tapped out interviews. Let's talk. Let's talk some wrestling. Now, I was reading on Facebook, and correct me if I'm wrong. It says you're a firefighter and a fighter and an owner of a barbershop. Is that correct?
I was an owner of a barbershop. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely, I was. I had to, unfortunately, step away from the barbering business to concentrate fully on the wrestling career.
Yeah.
I had two very successful shops running, though. I did dabble into the firefighting there, kind of in the family lineage. We have firefighters in the family.
Sure.
So it was more of a personal thing for me, just to be able to do it, just to say that, I did it.
Yeah, no, actually, I was going to go with the question. So when did pro wrestling come into the picture? When did you decide, I want to be a pro wrestler. I'm going to go for it. I want to train. I want to become a professional wrestler. How did that all come into play?
Well, I can tell you right now, the dream was there since the very first time I ever watched wrestling. One of my earliest memories that I can ever remember is Mama Warrior. She was a single mother with me. I was right around 3 years old, and she bought this little TV to have in my room, and it was a black and white TV. And my earliest memory is Paul Bearer and The Undertaker on WWF Superstars on Saturday morning doing an interview about him coming and facing Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
And that was one of my earliest memories, and I was always drawn to wrestling, and Mom always, she let me watch it against her better judgment, I'm sure. But it continued right up through. My stepfather, that Monday nights, that was our ritual, was Monday Night Raw, and then SmackDown came along, and Monday and Thursday, I started going to the live events. We did backyard wrestling, even though you really shouldn't. They say the warnings for a reason. I definitely got hurt doing it. We did backyard wrestling, me and my buddies in the back. The dream was always there. It was probably 4 years ago, that I finally said, you know what, I know there's a local scene going around. I'll try and get in. Some name drops got done in the gym. And I happened to get in touch with Wildman Gary Williams. And he told me that he was going to be doing another Wildman Academy. Got myself into his class. Amazing instructor. Most of my style derives heavily from what he's taught me. Can't say enough about Gary. He's a great guy. Didn't quite feel like I was rounded out enough. Ended up having to stop Gary's class a little earlier to help out with the kids, and ended up going to Patriots Academy. And there, I can tell you, I learned the absolute most. Troy Merrick, as a coach, he's getting ready to put on another seminar right now.
Okay.
He's going to do another class for Patriots Wrestling Academy. I can't recommend it anymore. You know, you want to be a professional wrestler, go and learn from this guy. Go and listen to what he has to say. His knowledge was invaluable. He cares about you. We graduated from his school probably over a year and a half ago, and he still to this day will message every single one of his students, check in on them, give them advice. If we have a question about anything like that, we can reach out to him and he answers it in a heartbeat. Just don't piss him off because he's the American Patriot. He's a bad dude. You don't want to get on his bad side. I can tell you that right now. Chip Chambers and I'm sure Dave Boyce can tell you that.
Okay. Well, thanks for the advice. He's actually coming on next month, so I'll make sure I'm on my best behavior. I won't piss him off at all when I get him out on the show.
Definitely tiptoe around him for sure. You know, that's one dude you don't want to have on your have looking over your back for. You know what I mean?
So pro wrestling training is tough. A lot of people think, it's easy, but it's not. It's very, very difficult. And the training. So take me through a typical day of pro wrestling training, with Troy Merrick. What did you, from the opening, start of the day to the end of the day, what was it like?
Well, Troy, and I can't say it's his philosophy, it's just what he did with us. He wanted to make sure that we were the most rounded out that we possibly could be. Physical aspect of training was intense, ring was intense, and mentality was intense. But none of them were more important than the other. It was the three of them combined. It was dual time on each and every single one of those. He never wanted us to get out of there and be lost with anything. He wanted us to have as many tools in our repertoire as we could to feel as comfortable as we could and to put on a hell of a show as best as we could. Typical day, you'd show up and we'd start off with the 50 squats, bang, immediately into the 50 push-ups, bang, immediately into the 50 sit-ups. You get into your rolls and stuff like that, get your body nice and limber, and then you start running those ropes. You have you running the ropes, and then you get your up-downs and your high knees in. And just when you're reaching the point when you can't even stand up off of the mat because you're getting ready for exhaustion, he looks at you and he says, all right, let's get into some grappling. I want to see you two fight each other. And you get into about, 20, 30 minutes of grappling with each other and break it down pinpoint by pinpoint. This is what you did wrong. I like that you did this. Never made you feel like crap about what you were doing. That was the one thing that I can say about him as an instructor. Best attitude that a teacher can have is found in that guy right there. He'll let you know when you mess up, and he's not going to tiptoe around it and act like a little, Nancy boy about it, but he's not going to come down on you to the point where you're not going to want to do it anymore. You understand that he's just doing it because he cares about you and what you're going to be doing as soon as you leave.
All right. Well, tell me about your first match after you went through the training and you were ready for your first match. So tell me about the first match and what you were feeling when you were about to hit the ring for the first time.
I was not ready for my first match. I can tell you that now.
Okay.
I was not ready for my first match, and that was at no fault of my wrestling academy that I was attending or my coach. Opportunity very early on, still in my second batch of training, to go and have a match in a very small town against a fellow trainee. And we checked it out with our coach first. We checked it out with a couple of the vets first to make sure that, we weren't going to tiptoe on anybody, or kind of upset the balance of the respect levels. And we got the okay to go out there, and we just went out there and beat the piss out of each other. And it's funny because it was actually me and Big T.
Okay.
That was our very first match was against each other, and yeah, we went out, beat the piss out of each other, got out to the back, and it was a lesson learned. You know what I mean? We sat down, we talked to each other about it, and went home humbled, very humbled, and trained afterwards.
Okay. Well, you've actually developed quite a little feud, like really good feud with Big T. How many times have you guys met in the ring? Have you gone one-on-one?
Me and Big T have a very in-depth, complicated relationship with each other.
Okay.
We have been training together. We entered the business at the same time, basically. And we have traveled together. We have trained together. I know everything about him. He knows everything about me, good and bad. We started out facing each other, got to the point where we were hanging out so much that, it was like, we're brothers, let's form a tag. We tried it. We did it. We formed the East Coast Warriors. We actually have a win over Sabotage on an untelevised event, actually.
Okay.
They don't want to talk about that, though. I guarantee you that.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, we formed a tag team. We did pretty well. We were a solid team. With his size, I'm not too small of a guy, but I'm not a large guy. I mean, look compared next to T, the guy's pushing 6'3", 6'4", 340, 360 pounds. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was going great. And it came down, we branched out. We got into singles competitions with each other. Just kind of grew apart like tag teams kind of do, good tag teams that stick together are a very rare thing. Grew apart from each other, went different directions. He got deployed for a little bit.
Okay.
He went over and fought he was serving his country actually, so he took a bit of a hiatus, and so I was doing the single thing, and when he came back, he just took over, and he was a powerhouse.
Oh yeah.
A beast of a guy. You didn't want to get in front of him, that's for sure. He ended up taking the UCW VIP title, and we came down to an event where the winner of a Royal Rumble, the Larry Gallant Battle Royal actually, the winner of that would face my brother, Big D, in a championship match for the UCW VIP belt. And
okay.
I was all ready to go in there, man, and make sure that he left the champion. I did not want the belt at the time. That was my brother. I didn't want to win it off of somebody that I was close to, and that I traveled the road with so much. And neither did he. He didn't want to. We were still good at that point. But unfortunately, things got away from me, and I ended up entering number 1 into the Larry Gallant Battle Royal, getting thrown over, threw quite a few guys over myself, and ended up last in the whole Royal, man, and ended up winning, taking Cody Blade over the top. So it was a bit of a shock. He came out, and I basically thought, yeah, we're going to go out there, we're going to horse around a little bit, and I'll let him walk out with the title, And I say let him walk out because I didn't want to fight the guy. But later on that night, we got out there, and something in him snapped, and he went off, and there was no more brothers between us. The rivalry had started back up, and it was intense, and it was bad. I don't think I have one opponent that I have more of a rivalry with and a complicated kind of relationship with in the locker room than that guy right there. We hate each other, but we love each other at the same time. It's
okay.
Every time you put us in the ring, you're guaranteed to get one hell of a slugfest. That's for sure.
It was one hell of a match, and Big T knew you were coming on. He knew I was going to be talking to you, so he actually sent me a message for you. So I'm just going to read what he.
Did he?
He says on February 2nd.
Yeah, let's hear what he says.
Yeah, he says. We trained together and started our careers on the road together, so I understand that he must be living constantly in my shadow now. On February 2nd at UCW VIP, I'll be watching him send the Greaser back to where he came from, and I'll be expecting a chance to get my championship back. So how do you respond to that from Big T?
Well, I can tell you right now, he's got 1 out of 3. He's got 1 out of 3. I find it hilarious that he says that I'm living in his shadow. He's got that wrong, brother, and the proof is in the pudding. You look at the only display picture that Big T uses. It's a display picture of him wearing the face paint when he tried to imitate his big brother. As for sending Greaser back, that's the one he's got right. I'm going to be sending Greaser back to wherever he's coming from, and I will be retaining my belt. That's for damn sure. The Maritimes is not losing its UCW VIP belt. As for Big T coming afterwards, he can try. He's probably the one guy that will give me right now the biggest fight for that title that we have locally. Looking forward to another match with him. I actually, if I beat Greaser, I call it. I'll put the title up against Big T again, as long as UCW VIP sees to it. So yeah, he can talk all he wants to. I think he's a little sour that he lost the belt still. He did not think that I was going to get that from him. So.
All right. I mean, you guys, like I said, it was a great match, and I'm sure you guys are going to meet many, many times down the road. I'm looking forward to those matches. But why did the Greaser? What's the hits? Is any history there with the Greaser, James Carr? Why did he stick his nose in?
No history whatsoever.
Okay.
Nope, none, nothing at all. Never worked the guy. Never really talked to him. It was a total shock to me. I'm just attributing it to the momentum that the East Coast Warriors is bringing into UCW VIP, and that's the only thing that I can think of. He's not a regular for our programming, so his motives are beyond me. I have no idea. The only thing that I can tell him is that he really messed up by jumping on the back of the Warrior. It's not going to go for him for that. That's one thing and one way to ensure that you are not going to survive the next show.
Yeah, no, there's no way he's taking the title from you. So you're going to beat him for sure. And I really I'm looking forward to another match with you and Big T. And he's actually coming on. And I'll let him know what you said, but I'm looking forward. It's a great feud there, and I'm looking forward to many, many more matches with you and Big T. Now, the face paint. Have you always used the face paint from the start, or when did that come into play?
I have. That's always been Warriors' thing. The face paint. It's like I said earlier. It's a spiritual thing for me. I wear war paint. That's what I am. I'm the Warrior. It puts a little fear in my opponents. It's a little bit of an intimidation thing as well, but it'll probably never go away. It's been here to stay. It's not. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
It's the East Coast Warrior. It's stinging.
Is there any inspiration come from the Ultimate Warrior in your character? Or
I get asked that a lot.
Okay.
I get asked that quite a bit. I wouldn't say my inspiration came from the Ultimate Warrior for the face paint. I would say if anybody as a fan when I was younger, Sting was the biggest one for me for the face paint.
Okay.
Then the Legion of Doom. Those guys were a massive favorite tag team of mine. My style is quite heavily similar to theirs as well. I have that kind of bruiser, tough guy style. I don't do a lot of finesse stuff. I'm just going to beat the hell out of you any way that I can.
So who else? We mentioned Big T and I mentioned Jeff, and I know you've wrestled many opponents in the Maritimes. Who have been some of your favorite opponents besides, of course, Big T, who we've mentioned? But who have been some of your other favorite opponents that you've went one-on-one with?
Kobe Christ. Got to wrestle Kobe Christ at a show one time, and that led into a three-way tag. Dynamite, Dylan Davis, and Chip Chambers versus Kobe and Sabotage. I believe that show was in Bear River for UCW. Outstanding match. He's an outstanding worker. That guy he's going to run you the ropes. He does whatever he has to win the match. You got to be watching at every corner of your eye because you never know what he's coming at you with. Phenomenal opponent. He really took me for everything that I was worth. I lost the original fight, because he's that good, man. He gets in your head mentally, and he pulls stuff out of his sleeves that you don't expect. Kobe Christ would definitely be one. Definitely have to say the time that I fought the American Patriot.
Okay.
Got into it there. I was up in Moncton.
All right.
And it wasn't even a sanctioned match, to be honest with you. I think Dave Boyce was still with the company before he lost his match and had to leave the company. And he was giving me a little bit of an introduction there because at the time I had stopped a drunk driver in my area, and there was kind of a little write-up about it and stuff. So Dave was giving me a little bit of an acknowledgement for that and for all the hard work I've been putting in on the tour and stuff. And Patriot pissed off, I guess, because he didn't get any airtime that night or anything, and he came down and we were both, I was in dress shoes and dress pants and a black T-shirt, and he's in pretty damn nice clothes. And we took the shirts off, man, and we had like a little mock match right there. He really messed me up that night. Unfortunately, he ended up hitting me with a tombstone, and it got me pretty damn good, that's for sure. But I held my own for a little bit against him. Came back at him a few times there. I'm looking forward to another opportunity of exacting my revenge. I never got my revenge for that, and I've never forgotten that. So if the Patriots out there listening, that's one guarantee that I can tell them, is that sometime in the future, I will get my revenge for that tombstone.
All right. Now, how long have you been wrestling for? Has it been a few years, or how long have you been a professional wrestler?
2 years. 2 years active. 2 years active right now.
Okay,
2 years active training before that, helping out with shows and stuff like that, paying my dues before.
So you're relatively new to the ring, it's fair to say. So how much do you feel that you've learned, and how much more do you feel that you need to learn to reach your fullest potential? I could ask.
I'll never stop needing to learn.
Okay.
That's a misconception right there. You're never going to stop learning in this business. You can't. If you want to stay relevant, if you want to stay successful, if you want to be the best that you can be as an entertainer and an athlete, you cannot stop learning. So that answers that one right there. What I've learned, attribute to the people that I've had around me, that I've been very fortunate enough to have around me. I'm going to say UCW because that's kind of home base where I've been a lot lately, especially recently in the last 2 years. I have been to a few other promotions, but UCW has really been it for me. The crew, the roster, passed on to me that I've absorbed through conversations, invaluable, completely invaluable. I think I absorbed so much over the last 2 years that I didn't think was possible for me. Honest with you, I've never been much of a book learner guy or anything like that. So.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been an insane ride. I can't thank everybody enough that took the time out of their days over the last 2 years to pass along some knowledge on to me.
So what are you hoping to accomplish in 2019? How does that look for you? How does 2019 look for the East Coast Warrior?
2019 is going to be the year of the Warrior. I can tell you that right now. The East Coast is going to get on fire, basically, with how hot we're coming in. UCW is really bringing out a stellar roster and set of shows for the 2019 year. I don't know if you saw that for their official Facebook page. You can get that post over there. They've listed some of their dates for the 2019 season.
Okay.
Incredible shows coming up. We've got Brian Cage coming up versus Riddick Stone. That's going to be an insane match. I don't even know how the ring is going to stay up on that. But as for me personally, VIP division, that's the Warriors. The Warriors going to take down every single opponent. You can be promised that I will be a fighting champion. I will not sit back. I will not just take the free ride. I will bust my ass off every single show, every single match. No matter who challenges me, I will take the win. I will bring that belt back home to the Maritimes. It is the East Coast's VIP belt. That's where it's staying.
Yeah, you mentioned I saw the announcement with Brian Cage coming and Eden Prince and Sheldon Jean also coming to UCW. Two other favorites of mine. I was going to ask.
Crazy rosters.
I'm sorry.
Just insane names that are coming down to the maritime wrestling scene this year. It's incredible.
Yeah, and then Brian Cage, and I wrote something down. I'm going to ask you what happens if we ever get Brian Cage versus the East Coast Warrior, or what happens in that match?
I can tell you right now, the East Coast Warrior better start eating a hell of a lot more Wheaties if he's going to be fighting him. That is a Mack truck on legs.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that right now. He's got probably 250 on me. So I honestly can't answer that, man. I'm nowhere near that right now. I'm concentrating on what I got ahead of me. Got Greaser coming up in February. I've got other people that I want to take down in the VIP division coming up. And when I say take down, I only say that because they've been treating the Maritime fans like a bit of, not the greatest. A lot of things have been going on that need to be checked out. I will say right now, something that needs to have a close eye kept on it, especially by some of my buddies in the VIP locker room. This legit group. All three guys trained by Storm OS. They've been making a name for themselves at these VIP shows, and maybe the Warrior down the line is going to have to kind of get a couple of guys together and put these boys back in check, because I'll tell you what a ruckus they're making down in the Maritime wrestling scene.
Another one of my favorites, I think, would be I'm sure you've met him. You went a one-on-one with him before. I could be mistaken, but Youngblood Cody Blade, does he get a shot anytime soon at the VIP title?
Cody just lost it to Big T before I ended up winning off Big T. I'm not really sure where he's at. This is a guy who I don't know if he even needs to worry about, what's coming up next. He's got so many opportunities ahead of him if he wants them. High flyer, absolutely amazing to work with in the ring. I had the pleasure of working with Youngblood. He's got a bit of a temper on him, when he gets out there and things don't go his way.
Okay.
That's kind of one of his drawbacks, but for the most part, he is not a guy that you can underestimate. So, if he wants the title shot, he's more than welcome to come. If the Warrior turns nobody away, I'll give anybody who asks for it a title shot, but they ain't going home with the belt, so it's just kind of pointless in there for them to eat an ass.
All right, man. Now we talked about some of your favorite opponents. I want to ask, who are you hoping to face down the road? Like, do you have any dream opponents that you'd like to go one-on-one with?
I would love to face Matt Connors one-on-one.
Okay.
I would love to face Matt Connors one-on-one. He's another guy that I started out with right around the same time. We know each other quite well. But we've never had that opportunity to fight one-on-one, and I think that would be one hell of a match.
Okay.
I think that would be a great match. I'd really like the opportunity for that one to happen. I definitely like the opportunity to maybe get a one-on-one with Chip Chambers as well. He's a high flyer, man, but man, that guy can wrestle, and I think it'd be a great challenge for the Warrior. I think it'd be a great match. I think the two of us could really put on a hell of a show with each other.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm just I'm sitting back, manning the Warriors down, and I'm letting people come in that want to challenge the Warrior. I'm training my ass off right now, busting it out in the gym as much as I can. I'm lifting logs out back as much as I can. Yeah.
So you mentioned Matt. You mentioned Matt Connors. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, pal. But you mentioned Matt Connors. Just a new hook wanted me to ask you what your favorite Sabotage memory is.
My favorite Sabotage memory. That's a good one. That is a good one. I think my favorite Sabotage memory, if I had to pick one and I had to be nice and say something nice about these lads, because I'm not, too great of fans of theirs, probably when they threw the turn right in their fans' faces. That would have happened earlier in the 2018 season, 2018 season, late 2017 season. They turned, man, and none of us saw it coming. Nobody in the locker room knew that it was coming. Nobody in the crowd knew that it was coming. They had enough of everybody wanting to be their friends. They had goals and aspirations they wanted. They were going to do whatever the hell they had to achieve them. man, people were pissed off. Kids were crying. Mothers were screaming. People were flipping them off. Like, that hands down was my favorite moment. And the reason it was my favorite moment is the raw emotion that drawed out of the freaking crowd. They did it perfectly. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to do it. They pissed everybody off, man. And that crowd just fucking erupted. Sorry for swearing, but
no, it's okay.
That's the only way that I can put it.
No, you could swear away, man. It's perfectly okay. Perfectly okay, man. What do I get? So, you've wrestled, you wrestle in Canada, of course. So, actually, before I get to that, I want to ask you, when do you think you might want to give Markus Burke and the UCW Heavyweight Championship a try? Are you a year away from that, you think, or do you think you're ready now, or when do you say I want to shout out Markus Burke, because he's like
no matter who asks that question to, Lewis, they're going to be bullshitting you if they tell you that they haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
In my mind, I've thought about it. When can I reach out and do that? Am I ready? When would I be ready? I can tell you right now, I'm not worried about it right now. I don't want to go for that right now. I've got myself in a foothold where I really want to improve what I've got, how I do it, become the best that I possibly can be. When you get to a level where Markus Burke, Marco Estrada, Dick During, the guys like that are coming in, and they're on a level that is at the very top. You have to be on your A game if you want to even consider challenging one of those guys. The Warrior is improving every single day. I am the East Coast Warrior. You can't overcome the Warrior, but at the same time, I ain't stupid. I'm gonna wait it out and bide my time, and when my opportunity seems fit, then I'll take it.
Yeah, you're the East Coast Warrior, but you're an intelligent East Coast Warrior, right? You're not a dumb East Coast Warrior. You're smart.
Nana didn't raise no fool. Mom's Warrior. She got some sense into him, at least a little bit. So.
Well, I think I definitely I can see you having that title in the future for sure. Now, any chance you're out in the East Coast? Any chance would you like to come to my neck of the woods here in Ontario and wrestle for like a C4 or Alpha One or?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or even in the West.
Absolutely, I'd absolutely love to. I'm going to try. The Warriors really going to try to get as far out into Central Canada as he can this year. That is going to be possible. All you can do is branch out and try your best to get out to that way. I would love to get out that way and do some shows out there. Even without being out there, I've got a little bit of a following already happening out there, so it'd be awesome to perform for them live.
Well, it'd be great. I mean, I love for the East Coast Warrior to come out to Ontario. I'll tell you what. You ever come out here? I'll be at that show 100%.
Perfect. I appreciate that, Lou, and it'd be awesome to see you out sometime, man. Yeah,
no, we're gonna meet 2019. We're gonna meet face to face. I'm gonna get a picture with the East Coast Warrior, and I'm looking forward to.
Sounds good, bud. Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds good. The East Coast Warrior will always stand for a picture with his fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about other countries like U.S. and Mexico, or maybe like even out in Japan? Have you thought about that at all, or is that
that would be the ultimate dream? You know what I mean? That would be the ultimate dream. I'd love to go international and do it. I think the Warrior could do well internationally. I think he'd be relatable to a lot of people, especially around the Atlantic seaboard. I'd really, really love to get over to Europe and do some over in Europe. And dreams are dreams, you know what I mean? You try to get them as best as you can, and I'll do whatever I can to get them. But to get a shot at over in the Asian market and stuff like that, that would be phenomenal. But all things down the road, it's not going to happen this season, probably not next season. I've got some work that I want to achieve here at home before I go branching out.
Okay, fair enough, man. And you're in phenomenal shape. If anyone's seen pictures of you, you're in tremendous shape. Tell me about your training regimen. I think you mentioned a little earlier that you lift logs, but what's your training regimen like? What do you do?
That's why I think a lot of people have respect for my work ethic, because I don't own a gym membership. I don't have any special equipment like a Bowflex or anything like that in the Warriors Den. I literally have a bench, free weights, and a couple bars, brother. And my day basically consists of, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I send my little Warriors off to their school, and I'm immediately downstairs in my weight room. And 2 hours in, I finish up that. Midway through the day, you do some core. Later on that night, just before you hit the hay, you do another session, right? If you do that 6 days a week, there's no excuse. You don't need a gym membership. You just got to push yourself. You just got to do what you can when you can. You know what I mean? It's all about willpower. Mine sucked. Mine absolutely sucked. I only started taking my exercise and health very seriously in the last 2 years, 3 years. A lot of that was depression and stuff like that before,
sure,
like we were talking about earlier. But
okay.
Exercise is a great thing for that too, man. I don't care if people want to argue that point or not, but you get up and you push your body and you're working, it releases endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. You can't lie with chemicals and you can't lie with science. So,
no, of course, absolutely.
But yeah, you just every day you gotta push yourself. You gotta do it, and not having money for a gym membership, not having time to go out. To me, those are bullshit excuses. I've got a kid home constantly all day with me. I still manage to train. I still manage to keep an awesome running house. I still manage to raise an amazing family and bring in an income and stuff like that while achieving my dreams. So willpower, push yourself, and you can do it.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, you mentioned you had 4 children. I was going to ask, how difficult is it to juggle work, family, and professional wrestling? I mean, that's a lot on your plate. But how do you juggle all that?
Difficult. It's extremely difficult, but that's the embodiment of the spirit of the East Coast. You hunker down and you do it because you love your family, you love your friends, you're passionate about what you do, you take pride in yourself, you take pride in where you're from. You don't ever want to let any of that down. So you just, like I said, you hunker down, you do it, you put all you can into it, and it just gets done. There are days when I wake up and I'm like, oh God, I need a vacation, brother. Mexico and a nice siesta would be awesome right now. But the Warrior can't do that, right?
Yeah.
We're all creators of our situations, and you make the best out of the situation that you created with yourself. You're never stuck at where you're at. It all depends on what you input and your effort. You can make a shitty situation into a good situation if you can get yourself to feel good about it. You know what I mean? That's the hardest part. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah, man. Well, do you watch much wrestling today? Do you watch which part? Do you watch WWE? Do you watch Ring of Honor?
I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
I don't watch WWE regularly anymore.
Okay.
I kind of stopped watching it right after the aggression era tapered off, man. I was a 90s guy.
Okay.
WCW, the Monday Night Wars was a massive part of my upbringing. And
okay.
After the aggression era, I kind of tapered off to the indie scenes a lot more. I definitely watch a lot of Smash, Destiny, TNA and stuff,
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I'm watching now. That's what I'm following. To me, that stuff's more entertaining, I guess. Not to knock off WWE at all. I mean,
sure.
If they asked me to come work for them, I'd be skipping that.
Of course. Well,
I haven't watched it. I'm not going to lie and say that I've been following their programming too much. Pay-per-views here and there, I'll go and watch, and I know what's going on, but I'm not forcing myself to turn it on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Actually, I don't watch much WWE, or if any at all. I hardly ever watch it. I got Powerbomb TV, so I'm with I like the indies like Alpha One and C4.
That's it, man. The talent.
Yeah.
The talent out there in the indies right now, just it's incredible. It's incredible. Why would you want to watch anything else? You got these are super, super talented guys in these companies that are popping up and that have been going strong for decades now and stuff like that. To me, that's where the most entertainment is, to be honest with you, is in the indie scene.
I'm going to agree with the Warrior on that one, 100%. I'm with you on that 100%. And like you said, you mentioned Smash Wrestling. Smash Wrestling is just absolutely fantastic. They had a 60-minute.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, 60-minute show on the Fight Network, and it was so good they expanded it to 90 minutes. So it's they're doing something right there. But I was gonna say, so what's the ultimate goal? I mean, you mentioned if the WWE called, you'd go there in a second. But is there a promotion that you hope to work for one day?
Of course. You know, come on, you as a kid, you know that's the ultimate goal. You want to be the WWF champion someday. You know, that's an unrealistic kind of dream for me that I'll always push to achieve. If it happens, it happens. You know, awesome. But otherwise, I just want to entertain people, man. If when I'm 70, 80 years old, you know, and I'm sitting back at my lazy boy having a brew or something, and I'm thinking about my life and all that I've done, if I can sit back and feel like I entertain the maritime provinces, if I entertain Canada, if I entertain people in general, and I brought joy, I brought happiness, I brought raw emotion out of people, and they had a good time, they enjoyed themselves because of something I did, I'm happy. The belts, the goals, fame, doing what you love, everything else, that's all second to entertaining people to me.
All right,
sounds like my little warrior in the background.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like you have your tag team partner is there.
He's doing his warrior. He was doing his warrior cry.
Okay. Well, Warrior, man, it was an absolute pleasure having you today, man. I thank you so much for joining me. And is there anything you want to plug? We mentioned the February 2nd show you have coming up with James Carr defending your title. Anything else you want to plug that might be coming up? Any social media? Do you have any T-shirts? If somebody wants to buy T-shirts, how they can get a hold of you? I'll leave this to you, and go ahead and plug away on anything you want to plug.
I'll finish off this program, Lewis, by saying thanks for having the East Coast Warrior on. I really appreciate it. From all the maritime wrestlers, we wish everybody a happy holidays. And again, I'm going to throw this out there. Greaser James Carr, February. You don't know what you started, bud. You've been through some tough stuff in the past, but you ain't came close to having anything. The spirit of the Maritimes coming at you full force. Unleash the beast. The Maritimes East Coast Warrior is coming at you. You are going to be put to rest. There's nothing you can do about it because I'm coming with the lefts and I'm coming with the rights. So, Maritimes, bring on the fights. Oh!
All right, man. I would not want to be James Carr right now. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. He's in a lot of trouble.
He's got a world of pain coming from the East Coast, that's for sure.
He's in a lot of trouble, that guy, man. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Anytime the Warrior wants to come back, all you need to do is contact me, and you can come back anytime if you have anything on your mind, anything you want to talk about, man.
Be an honor, Lewis, and I look forward to being on your program again. And to everybody listening in on Tapped Out Interview, have a good time.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Well, this has been Tapped Out Interviews. Again, want to thank my guest, the East Coast Warrior, Kasey McKay. Until next time, thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. And Greaser James Carr, you're in big trouble, man. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.